Good day, everybody. Dr. Hickey here with the introduction to the General Geology lab course for the summer 2010 year. I did do a check of the students between both the lecture and lab portions of this course, and even though there's a significant portion of overlap, significant amount of overlap between the two, there does appear to be a few people who are in the lab who are not in the lecture, and vice versa. So I guess I'll have to do a quick introduction into how this thing is structured in both cases. Many of you hopefully have been involved with other Northwest courses that have made use of eCompanion sites or eCourse sites if you've taken courses online. And one thing you might have noticed here is the general configuration of this course has changed. I mean, they've changed the software engine that's behind this thing now. Mostly the same. There's a few nuances as far as how things are structured that are slightly different. But the table of contents area, as I refer to it, is over here. Right now we have the course home section opened. The navigation tabs up here help us get around. The things we're really going to want to pay attention to in this course will be the grade book. You may want to make use of the email. Doc sharing in the lab course has a lot of supporting information and data in images and so forth that you need in order to complete the lab exercises and the exams. Okay, so you want to pay attention to that. As you open it up and have the course home tab opened, gives you a little overview of what to expect. As you go through each one of the sublinks under the course home area, there's a copy of the syllabus. There's a general overview start here tab that gives you the overview introductory information, which I've already emailed out to you last week. Frequently asked questions section as questions come up about various things, and I may supplement this with other videos. We'll see how things go this semester or this summer. Some thoughts on what, in evaluating how things have gone in courses in the past, what it takes to be ultimately successful in the lab portion of this class. Another copy of the online schedule, and the introduction video, which was last year's video, will pop up here in a minute. Okay, that's going to be replaced with this video here. All right, how is this lab course graded and different than the lecture course? Well, it's based on lab exercises, and as you scroll down the table of contents here, you'll notice that there are 9, hopefully, things labeled L1 through L9. Those are the actual exercises. Then there's also exams. At different times in the process of the course. Exam number 1 covers basically the rocks and minerals. Exam number 2 covers basically the maps. Exam number 3 covers the last 2 labs, plus a little bit of the map stuff as well. Plays into exam number 3. Oops, come on, scroll up here. There we go. As we open up each one of these tabs, let's say the mineral lab, for instance, okay, gives you a little overview of what's here. Although we give you the actual exercise, we give you the worksheet you can access online and complete just like you would any quiz or online assessment. You also will need to make reference to the textbook. Is an integral part of this. It actually, most, if not all of these labs in one way or another refer to the text, so you'll need to keep that at hand as well. As you scroll down, get down to the exercise link. This is the, I'm not sure why that's that. Okay, this is the actual lab exercise, so you want to read through that. As you're reading through it, you'll see questions are posed throughout it. You'll want to be making notes about your answers to those questions, both based on what's found in the lab exercise and what's referred to in the text, whatever the case may be. When you go through all the questions and are ready to complete the lab worksheet, that's done here. Each lab 1 worksheet is WS's worksheet. The other thing that the exercise will refer to is certain mineral specimens. Well, that's found here under this link. First, it gives you a copy of the identification chart for minerals in this case, and then it'll tell you what you're expected to do here. It gives you images of the various minerals, the physical properties that are associated with those minerals, which are the parameters you use to actually do the identification up here in the case of minerals, which you get through by reading both the text and the exercise. It'll explain a little bit about that. So they're all there. But the other place, because people sometimes have trouble accessing this as they're taking or completing the worksheet, I've also provided each one of these supplementary documents with images and identification tables and things like that that are called upon in the actual exercises. They're provided over here in Doc Sharing. So the Lab 1 mineral unknowns that is found under this tab is also given here. You can download that as a doc file to your computer, open it up, and have it available to you in order to help complete the worksheet as you're working through the lab exercise. And I would advise doing that for each one of these things. Where we have that information in Doc Sharing, I would advise downloading those documents, opening them up, and as you're completing the lab exercise and getting ready to go into the worksheet, you have all that information available. You have, I believe it's an hour to 2 hours to complete each worksheet, hour and a half anyways, I think. If it isn't, I'll make sure it's at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours, because we want you to make sure you have plenty of time in order to be able to complete these things. Just like the lecture part of the course, this is open book, open notes, since you're on your own for the most part doing these things. So you'll want to pay attention to that. Okay. So after you complete a number of labs, each one of these graded, you can read the syllabus to find out what each lab is worth. There's an exam that will cover the materials in those labs. And again, there's the actual lab exam here. Whoops. The lab exam here. And then there'll be any unknowns you need, but just like in the case of lab number 1 and all the other labs, if you go back to Doc Sharing and you scroll down here, you'll see RM Exam 1. This is the rock and mineral unknowns for exam number 1. Again, rather than trying to access it through here, because if you have a slow computer connection, sometimes that doesn't want to work so well. Okay, I would download it from Doc Sharing, have that available on your computer, and that way you have that ready to go. And again, the labs are all 2 hours in length, so you should have plenty of time to complete them. All right. So that's basically how the lab portion of this class is actually structured. Again, I may be providing a few other videos in order to help you get going, especially in the early labs, to make sure you understand how things are done. But this first video, I think hopefully gives you the basic information on where to find information here. And just send me an email, give me a call on the phone, and I'll answer any questions as issues do arrive. Okay, have a great day. Wish you a lot of success in the course. And again, never be afraid to shoot me an email, leave me a voicemail, give me a phone call, and try to get anything clarified. And if I find the same question recurring, I will add things to the frequently asked questions, and sometimes maybe make even additional videos in order to help again you facilitate your way through this class. I mean, my role here is a facilitator. I want to help you succeed, get this information, and this is basically the applied side of what you learned or have learned, hopefully, in the past if you've already been through the lecture course on the lab side of this thing. So, be talking to you again soon.